Disney, how dare you? So apparently, just to start off, how dare you? They shut down. If you know this studio, especially one of its most popular franchises, the Ice Age franchise.
Yep.
It's been huge amongst years. I grew up with that franchise.
Same here.
Well, the animation studio Blue Sky that was basically created it has been shut down by Disney.
Hmm.
And I am very hurt by this. I love Blue Sky Studios. Like Ice as a kid, Ice Age was like one of my Ice Age was that animated film that almost everyone knew about.
Yep.
And they always pumped out another one. And no matter how silly it gets, it's still Ice Age. And to me, how I see this is like, oh, no more Ice Age. We're closing that door,
Yep.
closing that chapter. So I mean, but I understand why Disney did that because Disney already has a bunch of animation studios in the first place, and of course their biggest one is Pixar. So
Yep.
I can
Outside of Walt Disney Animation Studios alone, Pixar, of course, I think is right up there with them.
exactly like and these are top tier animation studios as well. And I'm not saying Blue Sky isn't. Like they create Ice Age. I'm sorry, that's top tier for me. So, um, I can understand why they're doing that. Plus, they acquired Fox for a hefty price tag, so I can understand why they may want to maybe trim some of the fat from Fox as well.
Hmm.
Of like, hey, maybe we don't need Blue Sky. We already have Pixar and Walt Disney Animation. Lucasfilm also has their own animation stuff, so it's like we don't need to. And Lucasfilm was also branching out into other properties and not just Star Wars, which is cool. But also, oh boy. But anyway, back to the Blue Sky situation. um, it's it's sad to see this chapter of Blue Sky end like this because it's like I think but also, I'm interested because it's like, okay, they're gonna shut down Blue Sky. Will they at least allocate those animators and those artists and maybe the lead animators or whatever as part of Pixar, as part of their other studios
Mm.
per se? That's gonna be an interesting thought going forward as well because it's like, are they going to completely fire everyone and they're all out, or are they gonna be like, you know what, you did this property and you did it well, you're gonna come into Pixar. You're gonna come into Walt Disney Studios,
Hmm.
animation studios. So it's going to be interesting going forward how they completely shut it off completely, or they start bringing in some of those special talents.
Well, I do think that I thought I read or heard something about them allocating some animators to other potential roles in Disney. But from what I do know,
Okay.
I don't think they're going to completely get rid of the franchises or anything like that. Well, they're not going to completely erase Blue Sky Studios' trace because the television series for the Ice Age characters is actually in development at Disney Plus. But as far as like the
They
whole
say what
Blue
now?
Sky Studios situation itself, I understand why it's happening because like a lot of things got impacted by, of course, COVID-19. Thank you so much. And they had, and even Disney got something as big as Disney got impacted by this. They got hit by this, in the terms of like film releases and making money in the theaters, and theme parks and cruise lines. So of course something had to give. And of course, this comes after they acquired 20th Century Fox. Blue Sky Studios was indeed a Fox property. Now, as far as like my personal attachment to it, of course, like Blue Sky Studios definitely had some hits. Obviously, the Ice Age films were a big deal. 1 and 2 were solid movies. I think I might have actually liked 2 a little bit better. Three annoyed the crap out of me. 4, I saw bits and pieces of. I'm like, eh. And then I saw like the premise for 5. I'm like, all right, this is a little ridiculous. This is a little
It's
ridiculous. And now
Ice
they're in
Age. What
space.
can you expect?
So it's like, all right, come on, let's try a little harder. Let's try a little harder. But it's somewhat of a shock to say the least. Reading something like that, because again, like that this is another animation studio that I remember vividly seeing the opening logos for it a lot of times when I went to the
Yeah.
movies. I also know that another Blue Sky animated film that was in the process of being made was called Nimona. It was halted in production because of COVID-19, and it was actually scheduled for release on January 14th of next year, but that's all been canceled. The production's been canceled. The release has been canceled. So, it's sad to say the least. I
Mm.
understand why it's happened though,
Yeah,
but
exactly. Like this is to me, this definitely feels like they're trimming more of the fat from Fox than anything
mhm,
else.
yeah,
And and in a certain way, I'm like, okay, you have Pixar, you have Walt Disney Animation, two biggest animated studios. Why don't you? A part of me is like, why don't you just make Blue Sky bigger? Now you have three big animated studios that can produce even more animation, either series, movies, or whatever, across Disney Plus and film and theaters and etc. But I mean, it already happened, so it's not like I can go down to Walt Disney's anime or the corporation with a pickaxe and be like, "Hey, give it
Yeah,
back to me."
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
It's
just
it's a
like
little late for that.
yeah, maybe I should have done it earlier, but oh well.
Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So
Yeah.
to everyone listening, just out of curiosity, like, do you have the same attachment to Blue Sky Studios that we did, or really that Darius did? Obviously, much more than me. Do you, or, are you going to miss Blue Sky Studios? Again, leave your thoughts in the comment section below.